Do you think, for one, do you think that he plays under the tag? Do you think that if nobody offers him a deal, you think he's sitting out this season?
Yeah, I think so, and I think he should, because like we talked about this on a podcast I think earlier this week, but
Yeah.
no downside to him sitting out for a year. Absolutely none. In fact, it'd probably help him to sit out for a year. So I don't think there's any reason for him to play under the tag. I'm sure Lamar's a competitive guy and he wants to play football, but look, there's no downside at all to him sitting out a year, resting up, getting healthy, and then waiting for someone to actually offer him a deal. There's no. I can't think of a reason why he would play under the tag.
See, in my to-go today, I said that if Lamar does play under the tag, I could see it happening because he's a competitive dude, and he's going to look at this like, I'm going to show the entire NFL, screw you. You guys can't do this to me. I am not the scapegoat. And he's going to go and have the greatest season that he's ever had. He'll win a second MVP. The Ravens might win a Super Bowl. And then somebody's forced into paying this guy a boatload of money before it's abundantly clear that he is being targeted. And I think at that moment, I don't know what could happen or what could come of this, but it does feel like at some point the NFLPA will have to step in and say, hey, look it, we all see what you're doing. We get what you're doing. You're not allowed to do this. Like you are not allowed to all team up and say, hey, we're not going to pay guys so that the market goes back down because we're too worried about where the quarterback market is because the Cleveland Browns screwed up. I feel like Lamar might come back and just throw for 49 touchdowns and, 0 interceptions and run for 2,000 yards and then just say, hey, guys, look, you got to pay me now. There's no excuses. You have to pay me now. And, I mean, that sucks for the Steelers. Just to tie in the Pittsburgh Steelers here, that would be terrible for the Steelers. It would be terrible for the Bengals. It would be terrible for the Cleveland Browns or the Kansas City Chiefs or the Buffalo Bills or anybody trying to win a Super Bowl in the AFC, because I think Lamar would go on an absolute rampage. But I agree. I think that if I'm Lamar Jackson, I'm sitting around going, I don't need $32 million. Like, it would be very nice, but I could make that and more next year without risking my health. I'm only 26 years old. I play quarterback. I'm a mobile quarterback. So a year off is probably really good for me, especially with a knee injury. I do. I think it makes a lot of sense. Do you see a change coming? Do you see a shock in the next couple of days or maybe even a week where somebody tosses an offer at Lamar Jackson and, one of these reports are possibly wrong? Because this is who we got so far. So far, the teams that have said no, the Falcons, the Dolphins, the Panthers, the Commanders, and the Raiders. Everybody seems to believe that, or everybody that has been reporting these are national people. It's all ESPN, NFL Network, those type of guys have been like, oh, these are the teams. Do you see one of them being wrong and kind of like a shock to the system coming in the next couple of days, maybe a week?
I think we might know after the draft.
Oh, okay. 50 days from now. You think he's going to sit there for 50 days, no noise?
No noise. You know what? Actually, you know what? I do. I think that he's going to sit there. If these early reports are any indication, he's going to have to wait it out and he's going to have to sweat a little. But I think one of these teams is going to miss on a quarterback in the draft. They're not going to get one of those top guys. Like if you're the Falcons and your options are Will Levis or Lamar Jackson, how long are you going to let that sit before? I don't know. It seems like you would take a chance on Lamar, use your high draft pick somewhere else. Like I feel like the quarterback class is good this year. It's not deep. There's some real talent at the top, but one of these teams is going to get desperate, and I think Lamar is going to sit there long enough to make one of these teams really desperate.
Do you think that there's a situation where guys are sitting there in the draft, 10, 12, guys are coming off the board, and they already have a deal in place with Lamar? They've already talked to Lamar. It hasn't hit the public maybe, and they pulled the trigger right in the NFL draft. And then boom, the Baltimore Ravens now have to, and they say yes, because if you're the Baltimore Ravens and that happens, you know what I mean, the day before the draft, because the day before the draft, we'll have a pretty good sense of how the draft board's going to fall. If that happens the day before the draft and you're the Baltimore Ravens, I mean, I'm saying, okay, whatever, take them, have fun with Lamar Jackson. I'm going to go draft somebody here we're going to take maybe a year off from competing the way that we've been competing, and I'll take your 8th draft pick. Instead of having to wait a whole year and not having a quarterback, because after the draft, I mean, then the Ravens are screwed. At that moment, they don't have any hope because they don't have a quarterback at all. They don't have the option to go get a quarterback at all. It's Tyler Huntley season. That's not good terms or good news for the Baltimore Ravens. I could see it happening where it's the day before the draft and them going, all right, whatever. And everything moves very fast and things happen, or within a week, because I guess they have 7 days to sign the tender and match the offer sheet if he gets an offer. So I could see it happening like within the week of the draft, so that it comes close. But those conversations will be had between the Baltimore Ravens and that other owner, and I think that's what's screwed up about this whole thing, is that it's almost as if the Baltimore Ravens are negotiating with teams, not Lamar Jackson negotiating with teams, or Lamar Jackson negotiating with the Baltimore Ravens. Do you get any sense that he will budge on a number? Do you get any sense that he is going to budge from that fully guaranteed deal?
No, because I think and I don't think he should. I think he's a confident guy. I think he's proud too. I think he has confidence in who he is and security in who he is. We've seen guys sit out before. We've seen guys, kind of hold out and stick by what they think they're worth, and it hasn't exactly worked out a whole lot. I think Lamar is a completely different animal. I think he's way too good to budge on his number and what he wants. So, I kind of hope that he doesn't, and I hope that, not hope that he doesn't, but I don't think he will. I don't think he will, and I don't think he should budge on what he wants and what he deserves, quite honestly.